Hi everyone, I'm Joe and today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Halloween Party Superlative tag. And yes, before we say anything, I do know that you do not pronounce it superlative. However, I am currently having a mental block on how you do pronounce the word correctly, so I'm just going to have to frankly go with it. Anyway, this tag was created by Sam from Sam's Nonsense. I was not tagged to do this, however, the way Sam has created this tag made it look really interesting, especially as this is about booktubers and not the actual books themselves. And frankly, on BookTube I often think that yes, obviously the point needs to be about books, but occasionally talking about booktubers and the people behind the camera is nice for a change, so hence why I'm doing this tag. Anyway, there are 8 questions, and without further delay I'll get straight on to doing the people for the answer. So, number 1 is the person most likely to win the Halloween costume contest. And for this there can only be one obvious answer, and that is Elizabeth from Books and Pieces. Now, Elizabeth hasn't been active on BookTube for about 6 months now due to real life things getting in the way, obviously, as they often do, and obviously she's been sensible and actually making sure she prioritises them rather than trying to do BookTube stuff. However, I know that she's trying to make a return within the next month or two, so hopefully we will see some nice costume themed videos in the upcoming future, which frankly Elizabeth does really well, and I'm really looking forward to. The second question is the person most likely to be watching horror films on TV, and for this I'm going to have to choose Thomas from SFF 180, because every year Thomas reads a selection of horror books in preparation for Halloween, because he does a video series about it, which I do indeed enjoy. And I'm almost certain, if I remember correctly, that he does watch some various horror movies as well to go along with those books. Sometimes he'll read the book, he'll watch the book adaptation as well. So it seems the appropriate answer, frankly, and sort of an obvious one to me. Number 3 is the person most likely to be playing with the dog. And for this, the answer is fairly obvious, and that is Steve from Steve Donahue. Basically, all Steve ever seems to do, day upon day, is read books and play with dogs. So, this involves one of them. So, yeah, it seems the most obvious answer. I mean, he'll probably ignore everybody else, almost, you know, probably just say brief hi to everybody else, and then he'll go and start kissing the dog for the rest of the party, so, you know, it seems obvious. Number 4 is the person most likely to successfully trick-or-treat despite being an adult. And for this, I'm going to have to choose Sam herself, Sam's Nonsense, simply due to her size. I'm being sarcastic here, but it's also possibly half true, because Sam could go trick-or-treating with my niece, because if you didn't know, Sam is rather small. She's only just over 5 foot tall. So frankly, she wouldn't look entirely out of place going trick-or-treating with my little niece and, you know, getting the sweets and things. Although the problem is Sam would have to not talk about books too much, because that could make some people suspicious that she's actually, you know, a child and not an adult. But, you know, we'll see. 5 is the person most likely to supply the best music for the party. And frankly, the answer for this is extremely obvious, and it can't really be anybody else, because it's the same answer that Sam herself chose. And that is James. His channel is James Chatham. James is the most musical booktuber that I know of. And frankly, who else is going to do the music other than James? I mean, he listens to a large amount of music, and he's by far the most sort of detailed and the most sort of passionate about music in general of any booktuber I know. So this answer again is a really obvious one, because James would probably choose some really interesting music, frankly, I bet. Number 6 is the person most likely to win the pumpkin carving contest. And for this I'm going to have to choose Caitlin from her channel Kitty G, because Caitlin is a fairly creative and artistic person, and I can just imagine Caitlin really getting into it and really doing some sort of quite unusual and elaborate design on a pumpkin and do something really, you know, different and do something great. So I can just imagine her sort of, you know, really get into it, and then, you know, everybody being able to see her giant pumpkin carved in some unusual and probably fantastic way. Number 7 is the person most likely to win the baking contest. And for this is really easy, because this is obviously going to be Rachel or Canardi on BookTube. Because Rachel, if you didn't know, is the Muffinista. That is her sort of nickname for herself. And she likes baking all sorts of things. In particular, she obviously likes to bake muffins. And I am very eager to eat some of Rachel's muffins, by the way, if you didn't know, and the cookies as well. So hopefully she can go and bake some muffins. Some of them can be for other people, some of them can be just for me, because I'm quite eager to actually eat them. I really am. And indeed, next year I will actually be able to eat some of Rachel's muffins finally, which I'm quite excited about, frankly. And finally, number 8 is the person most likely to entertain everybody with spooky stories. And for this, I've had to choose Chris from the Reading Roads. Now, Chris, again, hasn't been very active as of the last 5 or 6 months, but hopefully he may make a return in the near future. I could just imagine Chris really getting into sort of telling everybody a story, with sort of everybody sort of sitting down, waiting for everybody to be quiet and shut up and not stop talking about books for 5 minutes, and then he'll start talking about some spooky story of some kind. I don't know how spooky stories work myself, because I'm English, and frankly Halloween is actually not part of my life as such. To me, Halloween has always been an American thing that people do over there only, and nobody I actually personally know has any interest in Halloween. So Chris will probably tell some, to me, extremely novel spooky stories, and indeed most parts of this tag would be to me quite unusual, because again, I'm not used to Halloween type things on a personal level. And with that said, that is it for this video. So if you would like to suggest to me who your answers would be for the various 8 questions of this, then please go ahead and leave a comment, and we can have a discussion on why they would be either great for the part, or indeed you could say somebody who is completely the opposite would be terrible at the part, because that would be equally amusing. And that is it. So all my social media links, as well as the links to the 8 people that I mentioned, will be in the description box below, as they always are. And that said, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another time. Bye for now.